Hey there, my name is Stef Grandgi. I am a full-time internet marketer. I have been doing this for quite a while now, many years in fact. And today I'm going to talk about why I started this online marketing and working from home and what are the reasons behind that. Basically, it's a pretty emotional story which all started basically on this beach in Thailand. But let's step back a few months before. In fall 2004, my father died. I was very close to him and he got a heart attack. Pretty difficult time. 2 months later, in beginning of December, my grandmother died and we all lived very close by in our village in Switzerland. A few days later, I went to a long-planned holiday to Phuket, Thailand, with my, at the time, 7 months pregnant wife. We weren't married at the time, and we started to have good holiday exactly on this beach in Phuket. Every morning we went to the beach. My wife was pretty hungry beginning of the day at breakfast time, and we had some nice breakfast near the beaches. Thailand is very good for that. Easy food, good food. And after that, every day we went on the beach and we stayed a few hours in the morning since there were less people and it was less hot for my pregnant wife. Though one day we did the same. We had the breakfast, went to the beach, walked on it, and my wife said, okay, we will stay a little bit on the beach, yeah? And I say, okay, no, today I prefer to go back. We will come back later. That was about 8 o'clock in the morning. We went back to the bungalow. It was just maybe 500 meters back from this beach, but just behind a small hill. And suddenly, while we were inside the bungalow, we saw a lot of traffic around, people running, and something very strange. So I went out, just wondered what happened, and I took the motorbike, just went on the hill, and on the back there were people and some kind of policemen stopping everything. It was really crazy. Everything was broken. There were cars everywhere on the road, sand, and absolutely crazy scenery. Nobody knew exactly what happened. They just say, don't go, don't go. And there were tons of cars and motorbikes rushing to go on the hills, up the hill, because Phuket has a big kind of mountain and people were escaping there. So I just went back to the bungalow and told my wife, we have to leave. I don't know what's happening. Something happened. We have to leave. And we went up the hill, escaping. We didn't know what exactly. And like many people, we went on the top of the mountain waiting and listening to radio. And that day we learned about tsunami. Nobody knew about tsunami before. We had just escaped the tsunami. That was the scenery. I made those pictures myself the day after. Very sad. Many people died. There were still people underground in some shops here. They were trying to save them, taking the water out. As said, it's pretty emotional. I can remember this like it was yesterday. The days after we had to go where the officials and the army were based to tell our embassy that we were still alive and not missing. Over there were walls and walls of pictures of people putting pictures, searching for family members, missing members, and other walls with pictures of dead bodies that stayed in the water for a few days and that they could not recognize. Maybe there was a ring, maybe there was a tattoo, and they were trying to put names to those people. So very, very sad and impressive memories. And today I still wonder why that day I decided not to stay on the beach, while all the other days we were staying on the beach. No idea. one thing would be pretty much sure: my wife couldn't have run because she was 7 months. She was pregnant. She was 7 months pregnant, and we would probably not be here today. Okay, so that was a little bit before I decided to go the internet marketing way. After that, I went back to Switzerland and continued my job. I had a very good corporate job. I traveled a lot around the world. Very good salary, 6 figures, more than 6 figures a year already at that time. When I wasn't old at all. I did a job that I loved a lot and spent a lot of hours working because I really believed in the company and the things I did. Though, since I worked in an international company in the headquarters, one day the company went under restructuring and got rid of over 200 people at the same time. Basically, it was either you move to Singapore or the Panama with local salaries, and I decided not to do that and lose a lot of money working on a local contract there. So I took my severance package, which was good money at that time. It took a few months before I finished working, and during that time I got a bit angry about the company because I felt betrayed in a way, working for 13 years in this company, like crazy long hours. I didn't have to, but I loved to. So I found a bit betrayed and didn't really want to work again for a similar company where all seems to be very well and good for the company, and one day they tell you, okay, goodbye, we don't need you anymore. Meanwhile, my son was born, a beautiful boy. Both my wife and him moved to Switzerland. Pretty hectic time because my wife didn't speak any French. I had to take care of pretty much everything. Still finishing my employment, and we had to finish the assignment before I left the company, and still looking for solutions to work on my own and maybe one day move to Thailand for working, who knows. But now I had more responsibilities than before and using much more money as well. I finally left the company, and at that time, taking care of the whole family, money went down pretty quickly. Okay, I had still good savings at the bank. This is really when I started to investigate a lot on internet marketing and really saw that I could make money with it. I really wanted to stay home together with my wife and my son. I saw so many people dying over there and so many successful and beautiful families disappearing in minutes. So anything can happen in life. That's what I learned there. I really wanted to do it another way. And it became pretty obvious to work online. I bought many how to make money methods, started to build websites, tons of them in fact. At the time there were no smartphones, everything was desktop based, and it was pretty easy. I started to do arbitrage as well, which was very popular and working pretty well. At one point I had more than 3,000 domain names and websites that were created pretty much automatically using auto blogs, and they worked pretty well, but there were ups and downs. Still, there was a learning curve, but all in all, that was okay. One day, Google shut my account and I had to stop the arbitrage. I was very careful when creating website and doing promotions. I followed the rules, I'm sure, though like thousands of people, I got slapped, and from one day to another, this type of business was definitely closed and you couldn't create a new Google account. Once they shut it, it's for life. Okay, I still had a ton of websites and hosting expenses, not so good. I had to do something with them, so it was either I could monetize them differently or I had to shut them down, which I did for many of them, and I only kept the good ones. One thing that was very difficult to handle as well is the hosting. When you have a website, basically you have to rely on hosting company. I've used dozens of them. At some point, pretty much all get problems that tell you can have unlimited resources, which isn't the case. And it was a headache to find good hosting companies that could handle my sites. And also having tons of websites using WordPress and using a lot of plugins, you get conflicts in plugins, you need to update them. A lot of headache. Learning by doing, it seemed very nice at first, but in the end it became pretty difficult to handle. I made some money, but I used a lot of money too. All in all, I'm not sure I earned a lot at that time. Also working in an international company before, I was used to work with very big teams, development teams, where I didn't have to do all myself. I worked long hours by doing all the work myself when I worked online, not delegating, having to learn everything from scratch, and I got very exhausted. And the biggest mistake I made, like all internet marketers, I would say, at least the ones who are looking for ways to make money, I was attracted by the shiny object syndrome, which means that every day there are new money-making systems that people promote on social medias, on your mail, etc., etc. And what happens is that you say, okay, I'm struggling, I will try this new method. This seems to be so easy. And I bought many of them. You should see my hard drive. I have so many of them. I used so much money buying all these things. The mistake isn't to buy them in a way. The mistake is that once you commit to work on one system, you should work on it until you make it work, which I didn't. I tried this for a while, then I got this problem and this problem. I said, oh no, I need to try this one, and then this one, and then this one, this one, this one, this one. You get some money from some of them, but as long as you can't commit to follow one system until it works, you are not working effectively. And at some point, my wife, who had been very supportive all these years, started to, let's say, in a nice way, not believe in these things too much. She said, oh, now you have been doing this for so many years, but what have you got in the end? You say it will work, but when will it work? I really had to change all these things. I was going nowhere. I couldn't spend time with my kids and wife, and it wasn't really the dream that many marketers will try to sell you. The beach dream, working on the beach. This doesn't exist, you know. Anyways, fortunately, I found the solution. I finally got organized. I started to use productivity tools, started to manage my time. I was finished with all the shiny object syndrome, only buying things that I really needed and used them. What a change! Suddenly, I got things done very quickly, efficiently, knowing every morning what I had to do, not getting distracted looking at thousands of different things, thousands of promises on the internet telling you about this or this. No, I chose something and I did it. I got organized. I followed well-oiled, repeatable processes that I could improve. I started to have a life again, even planning my free time, the time I have to spend on leisure activities. You need to have a life outside the business. And then the internet marketing becomes a dream. I started to outsource tasks. I don't have to do everything myself. I only have to focus on things that are worth my time. The rest I can delegate. I got better life, better health, better family relationship. This only because I started to manage my time correctly. And so can you. I am now happy and I can see a bright future. The only thing is don't get distracted. Do your job. Follow processes. manage your time, and I can help you with that. Sorry if it was a pretty long story, but now you know where I come from. It all started on this beach, and I think very often to all the people who lost their lives there. Remember, do your choices, focus, be positive, and you'll get there. My name is Stef Grandgi, and I wish you an amazing bye-bye.